Happy St Patrick's Day to all Irish hammers out there, including two of our very own, Darren Randolph and Mipo Odebeko. I hope you're having a day filled with lots and lots of Guinness and lots of shamrocks and lots of green clothing and green things. Great day for everybody in Ireland, and over here in Canada it's quite celebrated as well. There's a lot of Irish pubs over here that are having events for it. I might go to one later on today, but we'll see. I've got to record this video first, and then I might go and have a Guinness or two after that to celebrate. As promised, it's time for Off the Press, where I take 3 news stories and I break them down. 2 of these news stories revolve around international call-ups, and the other one is a viral photo that's had some mixed reactions, and it involves a certain West Ham right-back. Roll the title so that we can get into this. Off the Press is usually recorded on a Wednesday, and by then I usually have 3 story ideas to talk about. I had 2 planned yesterday, I needed a third one, and thankfully something has come up this morning that I can talk about. It involves international call-ups, and even more to the point, for the 2022 World Cup. One West Ham player has decided that he is going to be playing in the World Cup, but not for England. Who is it, you might ask? You probably already know the answer before you're watching this, but I'm going to explain it. The first talking point has been something that's been circulating around the media for a while. It's that West Ham forward Michail Antonio has decided to change allegiance to represent Jamaica so that he has a chance of playing at the 2022 World Cup. Antonio has already been called up to the England squad before, having initially been called up in 2016, but he's never represented a club, or should I say a team, at international level. He qualifies for Jamaica through his parents because they were both born in Jamaica, and he's one of many Premier League players, or even more so, England international players, i.e. players that could be considered for England contention, to have a shout with the Jamaican national team. I'm going to put up a list so that you can see some of the many players who could potentially end up playing for Jamaica. When you look at this list, there are 3 names to me that stand out quite largely. Max Aarons, Mason Holgate and Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney is ripping up the championship, as we all know, and he was rumoured to potentially be called up to England's 2021 Euro team. He is yet to be convinced to join Jamaica by the Jamaica Football Federation, but Toney would be a massive boost to that team, as would Antonio. Can you imagine those 2 playing together? They both have quite similar names anyway, Antonio and Toney, so it would make sense, I guess. Who else we got on this list? Mason Holgate, who has been playing for Everton, and he's not getting any real chance of playing for England. Damari Gray was a player West Ham wanted, who's quite underrated. He'd be very good for the Jamaican national team. And Max Aarons as well, who's one of the best wing-backs in the championship. Look at all the talent in that team. None of these guys really have a strong chance of making the England team for the Euros. So the fact that they could represent Jamaica is really something that they shouldn't turn down. Antonio's already put pen to paper and says that he wants to play for Jamaica. Why? Because he's going to get a chance to play in an international tournament, and he's 31 years old, and it's something that he may never get to do again in his lifetime as a professional player. Most of these players are still in their 20s and still have a long way to go before retirement, but if they were to play for Jamaica international level, like I say, they would make Jamaica a really decent team. Look at all the talent in that. Having initially played at the 2018 World Cup and scoring a beautiful goal against Panama, Jesse Lingard has since been shut out of the England side in favour of younger players. Now that he's with West Ham on loan from Manchester United and has 4 goals in 6 games for the Hammers, it is being reported that Jesse Lingard might be selected for the next 3 World Cup qualifiers for England. And if I'm honest, I can see him going to them. Like I say, 4 goals in 6 games, revitalising his form and coming to West Ham because he wants to prove that he's good enough for the England team for the Euros. This is all part of Jesse Lingard's personal plan. And if you are going to look at it on the bigger picture, Lingard definitely deserves a shout in the England team for the Euros. But at the same time, the issue is that England have so many midfielders to choose from. some cuts are going to have to be made, and it's not going to be an easy task. Lingard gives Southgate, I wouldn't say a difficult decision to make, but he gives him a nice challenge in terms of selecting who he wants to pick. The issue is, what if he gets injured whilst he's on international duty? We will be saying, as West Ham fans, oh, why did he even bother getting called up to the England side? But he's made a case to be in that team with his most recent form. Do I see him getting called up to the England side? Potentially, yes, and I wouldn't rule it out, but if he gets called up, it's totally understandable. Look at his goals, look at the contribution he's made to West Ham, but I think that West Ham have helped to get his career back on track in a way. It slightly goes against what Off the Press is, but I saw this picture the other day and I just couldn't not talk about this. It's an image that someone put on an Instagram story or even a Snapchat story, one of those, of Vladimír Coufal taking a bus in London. This is him standing at a bus stop. He's not the first West Ham player people know of that's taken public transit. Rob Green, when he was playing for West Ham, he used to take the London Underground and said that he did so because it was cheaper and easier to get around than driving a car. Coufal's taking a bus. Do you reckon anybody noticed him on the bus and people were taking selfies? What if it was the same with someone like Declan Rice? You know, you just walk into the station at Stratford and see him sitting in the train. What are you going to do? I think everyone's just going to hound him and he won't be able to get on. He won't even make it a few steps outside the ticket barrier. And people will just be hounding him. But fair play. I mean, it shows that Vladimír Coufal's just an ordinary human. I mean, he does normal things like taking a bus. And nothing wrong with that. He's starting to learn about public transit in London. And I'm not even from London. And I'll tell you, it's bloody difficult, mate. So kudos to Vlad for trying to navigate the London Underground and having his own Oyster card. Big achievement. Michail Antonio should definitely take his chance to play for the Jamaica national team. Having already declared his allegiance to Jamaica because of his parents' birth country, Antonio has a shot to play in a World Cup. And for many players, it is the case that playing in an international tournament is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, not at least the World Cup. Antonio's already been convinced, but that list that I put up earlier suggests that there may be a lot more English-born players of Jamaican descent to play for the Jamaican national team. The Jamaican Football Federation is trying to convince these players to sign on. If you look at that list, and you can go back and check it in the video, Max Aarons, Mason Holgate, Ivan Toney, players like that who are still very good players but really don't have a chance of getting into the England team, they can make that statement of intent by playing for the Jamaica national team and getting the chance to play in an international tournament. Do I think Antonio's doing the right thing? Yeah, of course I do. Jesse Lingard has a chance to play for England in the Euros, but it's going to give Southgate a good selection headache, if that makes sense, because the midfield's going to be the toughest part of the England national side to pick ahead of this tournament. There's so many players that could be named into that. Lingard may not be a first choice player, but he's going to give Southgate more options. And given his recent form, I think that he should be called up to the next 3 World Cup qualifiers. The only thing that concerns me is what if he gets injured whilst he's on international duty? What do we do then? So it's a risk that is worth taking in a way because it's part of what Jesse Lingard wants as his plan, to prove to the England national team that he's good enough to be put on the plane. The picture of Coufal was one of the most random things I saw on Twitter this week, but I just smiled when I saw it. You know, he's just taking a bus, nothing really there to see. Just thought I'd share it on social media. Those of other people did it. Hey, he's on a bus. He's got his own Oyster card. He's learning how to navigate around London. Thank you very much for watching Off the Press. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Comment below your thoughts on the 3 topics of this video, because I want to see what you guys have to say. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. I'll see you all soon.